Welcome to the Pennywise Financial Podcast. I have a special guest today. Well, we got two of them. One of them is my co-host, Dave Georgiev, but Dave, why don't you give an intro to Frank?
All right. Hey, so today we are honored to have the owner of Salvatore's Barber Shop in Chi-Line, New York, Mr. Frank DeSantis. Frank, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, buddy. So
First podcast.
Yeah.
first,
right?
He's nervous. He's shaking.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
For all of you that can't see him, he's shaking his boots.
It's all the caffeine in it.
Before we dive in with Frank, Const, you want to give us a little update on the market?
Yeah, a little perspective on where things are going. Year to date, Dow Jones is up about 2.25%. We've got the S&P 500 year to date. That thing is up 13 and change. I'm going to come back to that. I have a equal weight thing, and I'll talk about why that's important. We look at the NASDAQ. That's the tech companies. That thing is up 27.5% year to date.
Wow.
How about oil and energy? I got the Energy Select Spider. That thing's up almost 7%. Financials is crap the bed. It's down 2%. So that's banks. We got real estate. What's real estate doing? Down 7.25%. Gold. People go there for safety. You got 4% positive year to date. How about Bitcoin? I mean, people don't talk about that, but it's up 126%. Now that's a Bitcoin trust, a little bit different than the coin itself.
For the year.
For the year, that's year to date. And then we've got Ethereum, again, the trust up 121%. So the reason I said, wanted to come back to the S&P and look at equal weight, because you think of S&P, it's the top 500 companies, right? It should represent a good, should give us a good perspective on how the economy is doing as a whole, right?
Mhm.
500 top companies. Let's see how they're doing. That should make us feel comfortable with the market and the economy. If we look at equal weight, that index S&P equal weight year to date is up 0.8%. So what does that mean? So if I look at the top 500 companies, S&P 500, companies like Apple and things like that have a very big market cap weight, those are positive like 35, 40%. The other 495 companies are up like 2%. So to me, I think, when you look at the S&P 500 up, what do we say, 12? I say 12%. Yeah, 13 and change. You think, yay, the market's doing well. People are spending money. I don't think so. It's those top 5 companies that are carrying the other 495.
So, Const, when you say S&P 500 and you talk about this, it's up 13%. It's because it's unequally weighted. So the
right.
bigger companies, the Facebooks of the world, the Googles of the world, the Teslas, all these bigger companies, because they're doing extremely well, they outweigh the smaller sized companies. And since the majority of the companies are a lot smaller, they haven't really done much of anything this year.
Yeah. So to put it into perspective, you throw $1,000 in S&P 500 fund. You've got like 75, 80% of your money, that $1,000 invested in those top 5, 10 companies. So that's carrying the weight of your return. And that to me tells me that the other 495 companies, which make up a good part of the economy, are not doing that well at all.
Yeah. Which is more in line with kind of where I think the economy is as a whole, is it's not really doing that well.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But we brought in a local expert. You're kind of like boots on the ground. Like you hear everything. People come in from all different aspects of business, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. We get a well-rounded clientele.
Mm-hmm. Well-rounded.
So
what are you hearing? What are you hearing? I'm sure there's all kinds of gossip in the shop.
We have a lot of gossip, but what I'm noticing is I feel like everybody's spending so much money right now.
They are
just going crazy, buying everything they can think of.
Like, are you talking about like TVs
Cars,
and car?
TVs,
Really?
vacations. And I'm like,
Vacations?
oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. People are constantly going on vacation.
Wow.
So
Even
I don't
throw this.
know
Where they're getting it from?
where they're getting it from.
And so, Frank, have you had to increase your prices over the last couple of years?
Yes. I have to increase prices according to like when my rent goes up.
And have the rent has gone up? Is that a fair assessment?
It keeps going up.
Yeah.
It keeps going up. Even though it's like fixed rent, we have like triple net cam charges, and like every 6 months to a year, there's an increase.
Mhm.
Even though I'm not seeing it like around the plaza,
Mhm.
but they keep jacking it up.
When you say cam charge, what does that pay for? Like plowing and salting and paving
Garbage,
and maintaining?
You gotta pay for all that?
maintenance. Oh,
yeah, it's triple net.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And the triple net itself is a larger portion of the bill than the rent.
Is
Yeah.
it really?
So, yeah.
Wow. Cam
yeah.
charges.
And it just keeps going up and up.
And so how's business overall? Like as far as like traffic flow, people coming in?
Traffic is amazing. We have tons of clients.
Yeah.
But I struggle finding people to work.
Yeah.
Like I call, I try to find places, schools, nothing. Nobody's working right now.
Nobody wants to work?
Nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to put in hard work anymore.
Yeah, but the current administration is going to tell you unemployment as all-time lows. So
I don't know where.
How can
I
that
feel
be?
like
Every business owner I talk to is looking for help, just like you.
everybody.
And it's not just your field, your industry.
Every single person that comes in that shop that owns their own business needs help right now.
yeah,
Everybody's looking. Plumbers, contractors, landscaper, everybody.
Yeah.
It's like, if you know anybody, please send them my way. I'm like, same for me. Please send them to me.
I wonder if it's just like a shift of how people are working. Like everybody wants to work from home with this laptop or coffee shop, put up their man bun and just make a lot of money online,
Yeah.
right?
I wish I had a man
Yeah.
bun.
Yeah, I don't have enough hair for that.
Mhm.
Instagram influencers.
Yeah, that's it.
That's where we're going right now.
Yeah.
Everybody wants that.
So here's my theory too: is the baby boomer like problem? Is that so? For years, the last probably 10, 15 years in our industry, it was like in the next 10 years, some crazy numbers. $10 trillion will be shifting generations from the old timers to the next generation. And so like it was kind of their pep talk of like why you should be excited to be a financial advisor and get into like finances. But like, is it because that generation had so many more people that now as those people are aging out, retiring, now there's not as many people to replace those people because the population has gone down? Is that part of it potentially?
I think it might be some of it.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine. I mean, unless it's Rochester only that's been hit hard, every single business owner cannot find help. And they can't, even if they do find help, it's people that don't want to work. They end up firing them. They last 3 to 6 months. That's it. They're done.
Yeah, work ethic.
Yeah, the ethic is not there.
How many people, like not how many people do you go through, but like, have you experienced that? Like, it's not just once you hire somebody, but once they're there, are they hitting on all cylinders?
No. And one thing I noticed is I get two types of people. One person that just wants to learn so they can open up their own business.
Mhm.
And the other one that just wants to be on their phone all day.
Yeah.
The people I have now are awesome. They're amazing.
Yeah, you got a good crew.
But the new people that I bring on, they don't want to do anything. Or, like I said, they want their name on the door.
Yeah.
So if they come, how does it work? So if I come in and I cut hair and I style hair, if I'm on my phone all day on Facebook or whatever, I'm making no money, right?
Nothing.
Yeah.
No,
So you're
'cause
just
it's-
wasting time.
Yeah. I mean, we either rent chairs or we pay percentages. So the more you do, the more you make.
Yeah.
So you have the option to make as much as you want.
It's crazy that there's no lack, or there's such a lack of like motivation, if you will. I actually had a friend who's a chiropractor, and he was telling me that like he has somebody that he works with, and the guy's incentivized to take more clients. And it's like, once you hit this threshold, it's like, and I forgot the details to it, but it's basically you'll get so much more per hour, per case once you hit this many clients a week or a month or whatever it is. And it's like, there's more than enough clients to do that. You just have to have some hustle in you.
Right.
And it's like, then you'll complain that I want to make more money, but the boss, the entrepreneur is like, I'm giving you a way to make substantially more money, but all you have to do is hustle.
Right.
And it's not, it's not like the goals aren't so astronomical. Like there's no way I can work that fast or whatever the case is. Like it's a realistic goal in that profession, but the person just has lack of motivation. And I feel like in this new generation, to sound like an old man, a lot of kids now, they just lack that motivation of like, I'm going to go out and make something of myself.
Oh, 100%.
Crazy.
When we grew up, that was our goal, to be a hustler. We wanted to hustle,
Yeah.
no matter what field we were in.
Yeah.
And we were competing with our own friends. Like, I want to do better, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, we were always pushing like that.
Yeah.
Now there's none of that.
Well, I think this generation, if you show up to work, you're ready, you answer phone calls, you respond to people, you do what you say and what you promised, you delivered, you're going to go far. These
100%.
kids can't even, I mean, they don't know how to look you in the eye. They don't know how to shake your hand. I had an older gentleman come to my house the other day where we got rid of our oil tank. We converted to gas. And I introduced my son. My son came down the stairs. I said, you shake the man's hand. You say, yes, sir. You shake his hand, you firm grip. And he said, I'm so glad. He's 65, 70 years old, this guy. He says, these kids don't do that now. This younger generation, but it's not even just age-based though. Even older people, they don't want to work. They have no work ethic.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's like a lot of people were infected. I don't mean by like COVID, but like something else, like during that time, something psychological. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I have noticed that like your generation of kids
Mhm.
is starting to make that turn though. They are
For the better or
becoming-
worse?
Coming
for the
back
better.
around?
So they're talking more. They sit in my chair, they talk, they say please and thank you. And it's like 14 and under. So I think hopefully it's going to make a turn.
Yeah.
I hope
Because
so.
I think you guys are putting that value back in.
Yeah.
of
Well, I
where-
think that's what it comes down to is the
Yeah.
parents. It's how you raise kids.
100%.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times we have kids running through the shop like savages. And the parent is literally just on their phone, and I have to babysit the kid.
Yeah.
Please don't do that. Please don't touch that. We have scissors in our hand. You're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
The parent's just on the phone, just
Yeah.
checked out.
That's
It's
sad.
amazing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see it all day.
I do have to say too, though, it's funny when I'm sitting in the chair and like the last time I was there was this older gentleman. And so Frank is on like appointment only. So you have to book with Frank. I mean, he's the real deal. Not that the other barbers are not, but a lot of them are just walk-ins. And so as soon as a chair, like somebody gets out, they're not even done paying. And like this older gentleman, probably 65, 70, gets up and just automatically walks over to the chair. And it's like, what do you like? Would you ever do that in a restaurant? Just walk and sit down at a booth?
People
Like,
are nuts.
Crazy.
The public.
Yeah.
All day. And then we got parents that have to stand a foot away from their 12-year-old kid while they're getting a haircut.
Really?
Just lingering right over top of you. And
That-
I'm
Oh,
like,
that's
might-
got to be fun.
That might be my
Oh, my
wife.
goodness. yeah. No.
When they were little, she was over
No.
there.
No, she always sat in the waiting
Oh,
room.
thank you. Thank you.
Respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
He's pacifying me right now. It's okay, Dave.
So what are you hearing in the shop about politics? Not to get into too much politics, but as far as how the administration is doing for the common folk, the peons, I guess, of the world, the folk like us that go out and spend money and live paycheck to paycheck and try to save and do all we can.
I'm in all honesty, I don't think anyone has said anything positive about this.
I don't think so
administration.
either.
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody's happy right now,
And that's people that may have voted
one way or the other.
one way or the
Like,
other.
I have people that voted left, right. They all are just not happy right now with what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think of not just the president, because there's a lot more to it than just that, but we talked about the Fed and interest rates, and that's great that they're raising rates to slow down the economy in a sense, because we pumped in all this cash. We gave business owners money. We gave in New York State, if you were a tenant, I'm a landlord, so I had some folks that were not able to pay for almost 2 years, and they continued that moratorium. How do you think I'm paying for that mortgage? I mean, you think the bank is saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
Constantine, don't worry about it. We got you." Oh no, there's no relief for me. And what do they say? They justify that by saying, "Well, if you're in real estate, you have to expect that." You have to expect what? That the government's going to say, "Go ahead, we're going to give these tenants a pass."
Yeah,
Yeah,
you could stop paying rent.
That's right.
They villainized landlords over the last several years. Like, and they have in New York State in general, but the last couple of years, absolutely villainized them. And like you said, it's like, well, what about the person that has to pay the mortgage? I purchased this property counting on, these 2 units, 3 units, whatever the case is, paying their rent so I can pay my mortgage and also do upkeep for the property. So now when all of my tenants don't have to pay anymore, how am I supposed? Well, you should know that, to your point. What are you talking about? You're just making up the rules as you go.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
New York
just-
State.
I mean, you said at the top of the show, people are spending more money, and it's not just on those things like you said, vacations. I was at Wegmans the other day, and there was a little old lady talking to my son, and just filling up the car. I mean, we walked out of the store, it was $150. I'm like, what just happened? I mean,
Yeah.
we bought food at a grocery store, and it wasn't like our grocery shopping. It was like we picked up a few items,
Couple things.
right?
Yeah.
It's nuts.
It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I think the Fed has a job to do. I just think that, Jay Powell is there now, and he kind of took over. And I think where Yellen messed up was when the economy was booming and robust, they were not raising rates back then. Economy
Right.
was doing well. They kept it at near zero
Yeah. For way too long.
for too long, and they don't have another mechanism to go backwards. I know some other, bigger firms, investment firms don't believe that, but right now we're in a tough spot. But people always need a haircut, right?
Yeah.
My hair doesn't care about the economy.
And I try to keep the prices structured around understanding that people do have fixed incomes and, all that stuff. But then I hear people come in and they're like, I have to get a new lease for my wife's car. They get the same car with the same options. And they're like, oh, it's going to be $200 a month more.
Not to
I'm like-
mention the gas prices.
And I'm like, why don't you just buy the car? They're like, wow, we didn't take care of it. It's all beat up. I'm like, so everybody's payments have increased
Yeah.
significantly in the last couple of years.
How about the strike? You guys heard about the strike, not this past Friday, but the Friday before. That's affecting GM, and I think Ford is one of the least impacted. But
yeah. Well, they're saying that with the strike, so what'll happen is if you remember during COVID, because all production like slowed down and all that, so used cars went through the roof because new car production was like halted for a while.
Yeah.
So forget about you want a new car. Okay, that'll be a year and a half. And so used cars got jacked up in prices. They're saying just as the market was starting to kind of calm down in the used car market because of the strike, it'll just jack everything up again because of it. So it's like this vicious cycle.
it is, and the parts cost more to get. They take longer to come in, especially if you got an import. Now you got to get it shipped in.
Yeah.
Cost more to maintain. But I think to your point, I mean, you got to, how long do you get out of your cars? I mean, how long you keep your cars?
I'm going to say like 8 years.
Okay.
That's the goal.
How about you, Frank?
Don't ask me that question.
No?
Oh,
I'm
Frankie.
very
New
bad
car
with
every
my
year?
big-
So what do you got right now? Let's start with that.
Grand Cherokee
Ooh, what color? Black.
black.
Yeah, I see you with just all black.
This one I hope to keep for a while. The last one I had a Dodge Ram for 7, almost 8 years.
A truck?
Yeah, pickup truck.
I don't picture you with a pickup truck.
It was hard to get in and out of.
I believe it.
You need
But,
some
yeah.
steps.
But yeah, no, I had that for about 7, 8 years.
Got you.
So, but before that, it was like every 2 years I wanted a new car.
I'm good for about a decade.
Yeah?
Give or take.
Yeah, yours is a 14, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I've had it since 16.
Okay.
So I'm pushing, 8 years now?
Attaboy.
We'll see.
Yeah.
See about the parts. But the thing is, yeah, if you don't have to buy anything right now, my gosh, try to preserve that car if you can.
Yeah.
I think if you can hold off maybe another couple years, the strike will be gone. Hopefully the war's over. Imports and parts go down a little bit in price. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, let's see what happens with this election coming
That
up.
election, yeah.
It's gonna be nuts. No matter what happens, it's gonna be
Yeah,
nuts.
it's gonna be a spectacle.
I gotta say, one guy that I like on the Democratic side, Robert Kennedy.
Yeah.
Have you listened to any of his stuff? I don't like it all. Don't get me wrong. Like no, and again, they're politicians, so they're gonna say what you want to hear. But I like a lot of what he said, and I haven't voted Democrat in a long, long time. Not saying that I won't, because I'm a person that believes in the right candidate. I don't care what party affiliation.
I agree.
I lean conservative fiscally and socially. It's just my opinion, right? Like we live in America. We can have our own opinions and be confident in that, right? Something that we've gotten away from over the last several years. But I like that guy, and I like on the Republican side. I'm going to say his name wrong. Vivek.
Yeah.
I like a lot about what he has to say, but I'm nervous about him. I don't know why. I just feel
Oh, you
like
mean because he checks all the boxes?
correct.
Like
And it's
every single box?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think I have any idea who that is yet.
No,
No.
I think he's of Indian descent, if I'm not mistaken,
think
based
he
on the
is.
long last name.
Yeah.
But check him out, Frank, because
All right.
he's conservative, but like when it comes, I just heard him yesterday. He was talking about the border crisis and all that. And he's like, and a lady was asking, what is he going to do? And he was like, I'm not just going to say we're going to build a wall. He's like, I'm going to issue our military to go and patrol the border. Like, we go to places all over the world to secure borders. Our border needs securing. So why wouldn't we send our military to our border? And I don't know the ins and outs of how that looks, but to me, that's the most realistic approach than I've seen in a long time, you know? And I was like it or not, like I was a fan of the wall during the Trump era, like build a wall. And they're like, you think a wall's gonna stop people? And it's like, I don't know, if you have a gated community, doesn't that stop
Yes.
people from going in?
A lot of the people that were against it lived in gated communities.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And they all had private security.
Yeah. Same people that hate
Yeah.
hate the Second Amendment, they have
Yeah.
armed guards protecting them. Yeah. Funny how that works. But anyway, do we want to take a commercial break before we switch?
Yeah,
topics?
let's take a quick break and we'll be right back with the show. Do you have a high deductible insurance plan? If so, have you set up your HSA? There's a ton of people who don't know what it is or how it works. Even worse, there aren't many people who can give you advice about how to make the most of these powerful and unique programs. Not many advisors focus on this in their practice, don't understand the mechanics of how they work, or even where to begin helping their clients. Reach out to me, Constantine at Monarch Wealth Management, and I'll guide you through this process and get you on track to make the most of your high deductible plan and your superhuman HSA. Welcome back to the Pennywise Financial Podcast. Constantine here, Monarch Wealth Management. My co-host today, Dave Georgiev, and our special guest,
Frank DeSantis.
From Salvatore's Barbershop.
Yeah, Chile, New York.
Chile.
Frankie, I wanted to change kind of directions here. Talk a little bit about health and fitness. One thing that I enjoy talking to you about when I come to the barbershop is jiu-jitsu. Right? I want to say your new thing. How long have you been doing it? And can you tell us a little bit about how it works?
I've probably been in for a year and a half, a little over a year and a half now.
Okay.
And it destroys your body. It definitely destroys your body. Like your joints, you just get used to the pain every day.
Really?
But
this is not turned into an advertisement for jiu-jitsu.
Does it sound too exciting?
There's no plug here. But it's great. I feel great. I feel better mentally, physically. It is a great thing.
Yeah.
So
overall, like, I guess I'll base it on like old school metrics, if you will. Like, have you lost a lot of weight? Have you like changed your weight? And by that, I mean, like, you weigh about the same, but you can tell that you're a lot more toned.
It's physically, it's a lot better. Like, I've lost weight. I feel more stamina every day. More.
Why did you start? Was it for that? Was it for weight or just feeling better overall?
I actually, during COVID, when we were all forced to stay home, I was bored out of my mind. So I started researching things to like occupy my brain and some physical activity. And I stumbled across this. I started researching it. And that's what kind of pushed me into it, is just to
stay active.
Healthier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting unhealthy during COVID. A majority of people. Everybody put on their COVID weight.
Oh yeah, I still got that.
Like, I don't want to do that. I want to do the opposite. I want to get healthier, mentally stronger, and this did all that. Helped with it.
Health and wellness.
Yeah.
So
Something
important.
I don't
man.
have.
So yeah, but so important though.
It is.
And so like when you're doing that, like I gotta imagine that it's cardio because you're just kind of like wrestling around some dude on the mat, right?
Yeah.
Is it group exercise or is it like one-on-one?
So our school has roughly about 400 people that attend.
Oh my gosh.
So each class is different. Some classes will have
50 You're in Henrietta, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Some classes will have 7, 8 people. So it varies depending on what time you want to go, because they offer classes all hours of the day. But yeah, generally it's a lot of sweating.
And how many days do you go a week?
5.
You're going 5 days a week. Most people I know that do jiu-jitsu are probably like 2 or 3 days a week.
Yeah. Well, I have more time. I don't have kids, so
sure,
I have a little more freedom there. But yeah, I generally go Monday through Thursday at the school, and then I train with my coach on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
And he likes to go over the itinerary for the week. So we kind of
Mhm.
practice it on Sundays.
Wow. So
Yeah.
is it a lot of like grappling and
Yeah.
sparring, or is it more like learning different things
So
combo?
it's broken up into 2 sections. So the first hour class is basically technique. So
Wait a minute, it's longer than an hour?
Oh, I'm usually there 2 to 3 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Every night?
5 days
yeah.
a week?
Yeah.
Dude, you're like psycho.
Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't mess with that dude.
He goes, yeah, I
Wow.
know.
But the
I
thing
know.
is, like,
Might kill you.
mentally, like, my perspective on life has totally changed. It's like your brain is a muscle. So you need to work that out too.
Sure.
So now I'm less stressed.
Yeah.
Less anxiety, I'm just better across the board. But yeah, the first hour is technique where you learn a move or maneuver. And then the second half, which you can do as much as you want. You don't have to participate in it. You can grapple for 5 minutes. You can just keep going back and forth and just stay there for an hour and train with different people and just keep
Going
we
at
call it rolling.
Yeah.
Rolling.
Yeah.
Frank told me about one time where like this bigger guy like just kind of like sat on him.
Oh yeah. No,
Is that like a move?
I'm like,
The
yeah,
sit.
sometimes.
The sit.
It depends. If you're big like that, you get away with it. That's the thing. I'm like the smallest and one of the oldest people there. So
You're one of the oldest?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, do you bring it? Or are you like, I'm showing you old school?
I try to, but my bones are brittle compared to the
Drink some
younger
milk,
kids,
Frank.
you know? So I have to be careful.
Sure.
But yeah, no, everybody's is pretty big in there.
Wow.
So a lot of self-defense there.
Yeah. Is it fair? This is my take with fitness is like one of the best, when they talk about all these, everybody's on medicine today, right? Like everybody takes antidepressants, all this stuff. And it's like, to me, working out is the best antidepressant that you can
100%.
ask for. It helps get all your frustrations, your anger in the day. It just gets it out. So you're like, when you leave everything at the gym, now when life throws you curveballs, I don't know. I feel like you can take it better. And when things are just like not working out for you, you just don't dive into that deep hole. And I've never struggled with depression to that level, so I'm speaking from a step back, if you will. But I just feel like any time in my life that like life gets hard or something, it's just staying consistent in the workout is really what it is. And it's like a lot of people when they try to get back into it, so they'll be like, I went to the gym 7 times this week for 3 hours a day, not to, diss you, because you actually do it consistently, but they'll do that for 2 weeks. Then they'll go 5 days, then they'll go 3 days, and then they stop going. Like that's your typical, like they go all in. I'm going to eat clean.
I'm going to January to like March.
Yeah. I was going to say mid-February. So you're spot on. But to me, the older I get, I realize that with a lot of things in life, the vanilla, boring consistency of doing things is more important than what's the word? Like I'm going to do it all, like I'm going all in,
right.
But just that consistency of like, if you can hit it 3, 4, 5 days a week, even if it's a half hour some days, and I'm not talking jujitsu specifically, but I'm talking working out.
Everything in life.
Anything.
Yeah.
In moderation.
Yeah.
So I heard this somewhere, and I'll probably get it wrong, but I think they were talking about yoga.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, nobody ever leaves yoga and says, man, I regret doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't go, people say, I regret not going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it is good to do things.
I've heard that about the gym too. Absolutely.
In every case.
Yeah.
Everything in moderation. I mean, even investments. Think about investments. Financial show.
Yeah.
If there is something called overworking, right? If you're over trading. I mean, I think of people that I know that try to day trade, right? Hey man, I bought this stock. I'm up 1,000%. Did you sell it? No. Well, you didn't make money yet. About Bitcoin, people back in the day bragging about them, they're up 5,000%. Okay, did you sell? No, comes crashing down. There's people that day trade that make mistakes left and right. There's people that go to the gym. Remember us in college? Mm-hmm. We were probably so overworked. We would do we call double sessions. We go in the morning and then we go back at night. And then we'd have like an activity. I think we played racquetball. We played football.
Yeah, we were active though. But
we couldn't grow. We could not grow.
Could not grow.
We were like the skinniest kids in the gym.
One of us was skinny.
All right. Let's.
But I tell you, we used to drop since we're on that topic, we used to drop like 35 pounds, Frank, in like 6 weeks. It was not healthy.
So
No.
not healthy.
None of it was
No.
healthy. But like we would bulk up all winter long, and then like 6 weeks out from spring break, that was always the goal. So like literally we would eat next to nothing. And it wasn't even, when you think about macros, if you track macros at all, we get some chicken and stuff like that, but we like starved ourselves basically.
Pretty much.
And
I think that's how a lot of people lose weight, though.
you just
They
starve
just
yourself.
starve themselves.
Yeah. But it was crazy. But to your point about investing too, I would also say the consistency. Like if you're young and you start investing, even if it's a small amount of money, say it's $25 a month and you're 21 years old. Now, when you're like in your 40s, you have so much less to make up because you started young and that compounding interest over a long time. And there's nothing flashy about it. There's nothing sexy about it. It's just that vanilla consistency of just doing it on a regular basis for a long period of time.
Oh, you mean like when people say they're not ready to have kids yet? I'm waiting till I get established. I'm not getting married yet because I don't have enough money in my bank account. My career is not established yet. They're always waiting, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with investments. Oh, I don't have $100,000 to invest yet, so I'm going to wait until I have that.
Yeah.
You're probably never going to be ready. If you wait 40 years until you have that money built up, same thing with buying a house.
Yeah.
You know, there's different programs where people say, don't take on debt, right? Because interest rates are 7-8%. Don't buy a house. If you wait until rates are back to 4% or 3%, you could be waiting a lifetime.
Yeah.
May never happen.
Yeah.
There's never a good time, I think, for anything. Changing a job, starting a new career, whatever it might be.
And when you really peel back the onion on that, regardless of what it is, I think it just comes down to fear.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, so many people are dictated by fear, and it's sad because what's the worst case? That's kind of how I look at a lot of things. Like it's like calculated risk, right? You open a barber shop. I hope this is successful, but you didn't just go in blind. You did some like rough calculations. If I charge this, if this is my rent, like you do a cost benefit analysis at some point, you know, and you realize this is either going to be profitable or not. Well, what if this happens? Well, what if going back a couple years ago, what if a virus comes out and shuts everything down? Like, dude, like life is crazy. If COVID taught us anything, life is crazy and it's short.
Yeah.
So why not reach for the stars, you know?
Well, I agree. I think people fear money. And it's like the one thing you can make as much of as you want. I heard that on a podcast.
Mhm.
And it's true. You can just work more. You can gain back everything you've lost.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Yeah, agreed.
How did you get started? Like what made you decide to say, you know what, I'm going to open up?
I did not want to be a barber.
You
at
didn't?
all.
No?
That was the last thing on my list. So I tried everything else. And I wasn't for school. That wasn't my thing. I tried construction. I tried mechanic work. Tried everything. And then one day I started cutting hair and I was pretty good at it. And 20 years later. So
Wow.
I kind of just fell into it.
Well,
And you hung your own shingle at that right then?
Well, my
Right from the
father
gate?
was a barber.
Okay.
So I think that's
Yeah.
why I didn't want to do it. But then I just started working.
It's in the blood.
Yeah.
It is. So Frank's dad used to cut our hair when we were little. Like I couldn't even drive. My brother would drive us in the Pinto all the way out to Ridge Road was where the
Pinto.
barbershop was, to cut our hair. And then he moved to Chilai.
Yes.
He went from Greece to Chilai. Yep.
Yeah.
And then I remember at first when Frank started like practicing cutting hair. And then over
You were my
time,
first victim, weren't you?
Nice.
I was one of his first like straight razors on the like side and on the back.
Yep.
He's like, Dave, this, I might cut you. And I was like, whatever, Frank, it's all good, But
I don't think I did, by the way.
no, you did it.
No.
Impeccable.
Yeah.
And honestly, the people that come to you now, I mean, Frank is so booked out. Like it's just a testimony to like the job you do for people and you care and you go into, I love going to the barbershop because like, one of the other barbers, Matt, is next to him. And like, so like a lot of times, barbershop talk, you're talking about something, somebody chimes in over here,
Oh,
then
yeah.
a customer behind
gallery.
you. Yeah. It's such a great atmosphere. I think it's super
It is
cool.
fun. It is fun when everybody starts getting involved and
Yeah.
starts talking a little bit.
Yeah.
Which we've gotten away from in the last few years because everybody's so buried in their phones.
Yeah. That's
Like,
kind of
I
sad.
believe it.
So now it's nice that we're so full and busy that people want to chime in.
I like that.
Frank, what's your website so people know if they want to like check you out and check out what kind of the deal?
ChileBarbershop.com. And we're located at 3240 Chile Avenue, Rochester, New York, 14624.
Tons of parking, great
Tons of
atmosphere,
parking.
Yes.
easy website.
Yes. Great coffee shop right next door. So
Yes.
if you got to wait a little
Oh,
bit,
yeah.
grab a cup of coffee at the Leaf and Bean.
Yeah.
Got to plug them.
Yeah, they're
They've
great.
been
They're
forever.
great.
Yeah. Frank, any closing words? You look like Joe Rogan. I was telling you when you got in here.
Nice.
You know, no cigars today.
Yeah, no bourbon, no cigars. It's a little disappointed.
A little
It's okay.
disappointed.
I don't
Sorry,
blame you.
buddy.
I get it. No alien talk.
Yeah, we never got into aliens. We never got into aliens.
I followed zero on that, by the way. I have no idea what's going on with aliens.
With the whole alien thing? Me neither.
But-
But I guess Mexico released video that they found aliens.
Oh yeah.
I saw the actual
They
aliens.
hanging
Oh,
out in
the two
Mexico.
The two little
Perfectly shaped,
and they're
laying-
symmetrical next to
Yeah.
each other. Yeah. There's a video. Clearly.
I don't know
Frank
it.
saw it too.
I seen that. You're talking about the ones
Yeah,
that look like they're
They
just
look like
laying
little
there.
statues. Yeah.
I feel like somebody had those in their basement a very long time. And
Yeah.
then when everybody was like, aliens are real, he's like, I got something.
Yeah,
I got something for you.
Hold on a second. Let me move my old tennis table downstairs.
Yeah, exactly. You have to dust them off.
But I
crazy.
appreciate you guys having me on here.
Absolutely. We'll have to check in on you maybe sometime early in 2024, get you back on, get updated on what's going on in the world. Because I like it, Frank, because you're kind of like the rubber meets the road. How is the economy on the ground level? And that's what I appreciate, your input today. So
It's confusing. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't know if people are doing great or if everybody's just tapping out credit right now.
yeah, which is what statistics would lead us to believe
Yeah.
right now. Savings are at all-time lows. Credit card balances are at all-time highs. So
Yeah.
we'll kind of see if that trend continues.
At a time when the economy's kind of shuddering and interest rates are at the highest level we've seen, going up at a rate that we haven't seen in 40 years, rack on that debt. I mean, that's scary, man. I think we might not see the repercussion of that for maybe 3-4 years when people struggle with mortgages, car payments, credit card payments,
Yeah.
everything combined together. Man,
It might be a mild recession coming up now, but building up to something, like you said, Const, maybe 3 to 5 years where we have a major drop off, a major recession. But
I better sign up for 5 days jujitsu so I can find a state of zen like Frank DeSantis over here.
exactly.
Man,
It is fun. You should try it.
he's calm, badass, but he's in a state of zen. I like that.
Yeah. Sounds good. Frankie, thank you for coming and joining us
Thanks
today,
for
buddy.
having me.
Thanks again for listening to the Pennywise Financial Podcast. Our special guest today, Frank DeSantis, Salvatore's Barbershop. Thanks again.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Pennywise Financial, brought to you by Monarch Wealth Management. Constantine and David really care about their clients. They want to make sure you're happy, so you'll continue to hire them. There's no commitments, and clients are free to leave whenever they want. Think about being able to pick up the phone and call someone for guidance and advice on almost anything, from buying a car, selling a home, buying vacation properties, or even selling a business. Reach out on the website at monarchwealthmanagement.com. There are 2 offices in Rochester and 2 offices in Buffalo. Reach out to us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, or call us toll-free at 800-480-1580. That's 800-480-1580. Until next time, this is Pennywise Financial, signing off.
The opinions voiced in this program are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, and financial advisor or tax advisor prior to investing. Securities are offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, and SIPC.